Hello, I'm Antonio Mora. This is the newsandnews.com Day in Brief on Friday, March 1st at about 6:30 p.m. The chairman of the House Oversight Committee, Elijah Cummings, is demanding the White House turn over documents and comply with interview requests related to how security clearances were handled. This follows a New York Times report that President Trump ordered his former chief of staff, John Kelly, to grant his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, a top-secret security clearance over the objections of intelligence officials and former White House counsel Don McGahn. Kushner's team insists it was handled in the regular process with no pressure from anyone, and Trump is on tape saying he had no involvement. But Kelly and McGahn were reportedly so concerned they wrote memos detailing their objections. Two top House Democrats, Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell, are also threatening investigations and accusing Trump of nepotism and choosing blood over national security. Schiff said, quote, "There is no nepotism exception for background investigations, and that it is the latest indicator of the president's utter disregard for our national security." In an interview with Sean Hannity, Trump said he remains hopeful that a deal will be reached with North Korea down the line. He said North Korea only wanted to de-nuke certain areas. Trump claims Kim Jong-un has promised not to resume testing nuclear missiles and that the summit was productive, but that, quote, "I just don't think maybe either of us were ready." Then why fly all the way to Vietnam and hold the summit? Trump's top advisors had warned him the North Koreans were not prepared to reach a deal, but he insisted on holding the summit anyway. That said, North Korea also described the summit as successful and did promise further negotiations. However, Trump is facing almost universal criticism for saying he believed Kim when the dictator said he was not aware of the mistreatment of American Otto Warmbier, who died shortly after his release from a North Korean prison. Warmbier's family rebuked Trump today, saying, quote, "Kim and his evil regime are responsible for unimaginable cruelty and inhumanity." GOP Senator Rob Portman even took to the Senate floor to warn the president not to be naive about the brutal nature of the North Korean regime. Trump tweeted this morning that Michael Cohen had tried to sell a book that is vastly at odds with his testimony before Congress this week. Trump said Congress must demand the manuscript because, quote, "your heads will spin when you see the lies, misrepresentations, and contradictions." Cohen was reportedly pitching the book to publishers just weeks before the FBI raided his office. Cohen will further testify before the House Intelligence Committee on March 6th, and in the aftermath of his testimony this week, Democrats are considering new investigations and calling new witnesses. Felix Sater, a Russian-born convicted felon who was an associate of Trump's and involved in the Moscow Trump Tower project, will appear on March 14th. They may also ask longtime Trump Organization CFO Alan Weisselberg to testify. He reportedly has an immunity deal with prosecutors in New York. A new strategy may be brewing on the right when it comes to the Mueller investigation. Both Donald Trump Jr. and Devin Nunes, the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, spoke at CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference, and they separately demanded full transparency. Nunes said he wants everything made public. Quote, "every email, everybody that they wiretapped, every warrant they got." Don Jr. said, "put it all out there. Don't redact anything." Washington State Governor Jay Inslee announced he is running for the Democratic nomination for president with a focused message on defeating climate change. I think that makes him the 13th to officially announce, but it's getting hard to count. Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper is reportedly ready to announce his bid by next week. A couple of days ago, Joe Biden dropped strong hints that he'll jump in, and we heard today that Joaquin Castro is likely running for a Texas Senate seat after reports Beto O'Rourke won't, because Beto will be a candidate for president. Of course, Joaquin's twin, Julian, is already among those Democrats who have thrown their hat in for a chance to run against Trump. The U.S. is offering a $1 million reward for information about Hamza Bin Laden, who is believed to be emerging as the new leader of al-Qaeda. Letters seized from Osama bin Laden's compound in Pakistan indicate that Hamza was his favorite son, whom he was grooming as his successor. Hamza is around 30 years old, and eerily, he's reportedly married to the daughter of 9/11 hijacker Mohammed Atta. Saudi Arabia revoked Hamza bin Laden's citizenship today. It's not clear why Ayman al-Zawahiri has relinquished his position as the group's leader, although he is 67 years old. Hamza bin Laden is said to be most likely hiding along the Pakistan-Afghanistan border. American allies and U.S. officials were again surprised by a Trump claim. This time he made it on his way back from Vietnam while addressing U.S. troops at Elmendorf-Richardson Joint Base in Alaska. He said U.S.-backed forces have retaken 100% of the territory controlled by ISIS. Regional allies say the fight isn't over yet. His story reads like a movie script. An Indian pilot engages in the first aerial dogfight with Pakistan in almost a half-century. When his plane gets hit and bursts into flame, he ejects but lands in enemy territory. As angry locals accost him, he fires into the air to keep them away and jumps into a pond. There, he eats and otherwise destroys sensitive documents before finally being captured. Commander Abhinandan Bartaman's conduct gained respect from both nations, and his release today may have averted another war between the nuclear-armed neighbors. He received a hero's welcome at the famous Wagah crossing in the disputed Kashmir region. That's where 2 weeks ago Pakistani-based terrorists killed dozens of Indian soldiers. Following that, India and Pakistan had been on a brink of all-out war with fighter jet battles, bombings, and cross-border gunfire. World powers, including the U.S., have intervened to also help diffuse the tensions. The U.S. music business grew almost 12% in 2018. That's a third consecutive year of double-digit growth. The surge is fueled by a huge increase in streaming, which jumped by more than 30%, accounting for about 3/4 of music sales. But a little perspective here. Americans spent significantly more on gambling in Las Vegas alone than on music purchases. She was the boss. One of the funniest actresses in TV history has died. Katherine Hellman starred as the man-crazy mother on Who's the Boss and as Jessica Tate on Soap, but also had recurring roles on other sitcom hits, including Everybody Loves Raymond and Coach. A 2-time Golden Globe winner, she was nominated for multiple Emmys and a Tony. Hellman died from complications from Alzheimer's disease. She was 89, but left us with lots of laughs. We have all those stories and much more updated around the clock 7 days a week on newsandnews.com, where you will find all you need to know in one place. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the right of your screen just below this video. Please follow us on Facebook at Real News and News, and follow me on Twitter at AMoraTV. Have a great weekend. I will see you again on Monday.